All right, guys. Now, you can't directly compare celebrities with celebrities. You can't compare celebrities with celebrities, right? I mean, when you're comparing celebrities, they're all good in their own way. We like some. Some of us like some of us like others, right? We don't all like the same celebrities. We don't all like, some people don't like the main celebrities. Some people love the main celebrities. Or some people have a preference. Some people like the people that are more alternative and not the more popular ones, or more indie. There's and I mean, some people like A-listers, right? It just depends on who we are, right? But in general, and like this is just a theoretical thing that I think, okay? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody can think whatever they want, right? You don't have to think the way I do. This is how I think, okay? So celebrities that compare to me, I would say are, I think like I said, this is my opinion. Don't come after me, obviously, right? My opinion, it may not be, it's obviously not like 100% fact, but it's just how I feel. I think I look better than Brad Pitt because he's older, right? Not because and I just never found him that attractive, but things people can disagree, obviously. People think Brad Pitt's gorgeous, right? I think I look better than Brad Pitt and some of the main celebrities. But yes, I mean, that's on a good day for me and a bad day for Brad, right? On a good day for Brad and a bad day for me, I would say he's better than me, but in general, right now, with the way that I look, and Brad's like really, like he's stunning, he looks great. I always have these mixed feelings about Brad because I grew up with him. I mean, not with him, I don't know him, but I grew up watching him, and I mean, he was always a super huge icon. And like when I was younger, I was a nobody, right? Not to say that I wasn't a somebody. Everybody's a somebody, right? But I felt like a nobody, right? So for me, it has more to do with my feelings about Brad Pitt, and there's nothing wrong with Brad Pitt. He's amazing. He's good looking, and maybe people think he's better looking than me. Maybe they think I'm better looking. Maybe I think he's better looking than me sometimes, and maybe I think he's worse than me, right? But like growing up, he was this big star, and I was a nobody, right? So I'm still used to that kind of mentality, right? I know it's like he's like older now. I'm getting in the limelight and trying to be famous and stuff like that. But that never really goes away, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of celebrities that are out now think certain things about celebrities that were out before. I think about celebrities now that are in the limelight, and I think different things, right? Because we all grew up watching celebrities, and there's nobody really that feels like a celebrity in general. I would say most people don't feel like a celebrity, but even if you feel like a celebrity, you're not going to feel like one unless you're an actual celebrity, I would say most of the time. Not saying that's 100% fact, but I would say most people don't feel like they're going to be a celebrity until they are a celebrity, and then at that point they think whatever would they think, right? But in general, I've always grown up feeling like Brad was like this big star, and I was a complete nobody. Not to say that I'm a nobody. I'm not a nobody. Everybody's a somebody, right? But in general, I always felt like Brad Pitt was this big star, and I was like a complete nobody, right? So I still have that mentality in my head because I grew up that way, thinking that way. I was poor. I never felt like a star because I never really tried, and when I did try, I failed, right? So I always felt like I wasn't a star, right? But now that I'm rising and doing really well, I start to see things differently, right? Like I'm like, well, Brad Pitt. I'm like, I've always had this idea that Brad Pitt's worse, and I'm not a star, but he's a big star, and I've always said this. And then maybe it might be a hint of jealousy because he's super famous and it wasn't. Not necessarily. I mean, I love him, but I've always liked him too. I always thought he was really good, but in general, it was always these stories that came out of him. I always felt like he was doing so well, and I did well too, but I mean, I wasn't a celebrity, right? So all these stories, right? So in general, nowadays, I'm rising to be a celebrity, so I'm like, I mean, I'm not sure if you want to meet me. I'm not that I want to meet him necessarily, but I'm not sure what he thinks of me as a person or whatever. But I mean, we're both very similar. Like, setting aside all the stuff that I grew up with and all the feelings, we're both very similar. He looks a lot like me when he was younger. He looks a lot like me. At his best, he's very, very good looking. I just don't particularly like his nose, but he's a very good looking guy. But he has a great nose. Now that I'm getting famous, I always have to toss that aside because I'm not like going to hold a grudge against someone that's famous that I never really knew, right? And I'm going to be famous too, right? And he's getting older, and I love him still, and I think he's really good. But all that stuff is silly. But when you're younger and you always thought someone was a star and you weren't, it's totally different. Maybe he has that same feeling about someone else, right? But in general, you know, it's crazy what we think when we're not famous, and when we think we're never gonna be famous. It's kind of crazy what we think, right? Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye, guys. What do you guys think of the dress? Nice, right?